Welcome to International Love Story. My name is Christina, and today I'm going to welcome Liz and Shane sitting in Hong Kong right now. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that you're making time for me, even though we have a slight time difference because it's night in Hong Kong right now, while we have, I think it's 10 a.m. here in Argentina, 10:15 in Argentina, and it's 9:15 p.m. in Hong Kong.
p.m. here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So really,
hello, thank you for having us.
I really appreciate it. I'm actually quite excited to interview the both of you because Liz,
Really?
I mean, I'm following, because I'm following every step on Instagram, of your Instagram account, Liz, and I just think it's very fascinating. And I mentioned it a couple of times in private conversations with you, how amazed you are about like China and how much you're integrated in the Chinese culture. And by the way, I think it's Chinese New Year's already. No, when does it start?
Next week, yeah.
It's going to start
almost
next
week.
week.
Preparation.
And it's a very special holiday, not only because it's New Year's, but also because you're connecting something very personal with it as well, no? So it's like a milestone in your relationship.
That's very right. You know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you know that. I almost forgot about it, to be honest.
But we will get back to that later. First of all, for everyone who doesn't know you yet, as well as I obviously do. I'm just joking. I don't know that much, but for anyone who sees you the first time, who listens to you the first time, please just go ahead and introduce yourself. Like, who are you? Where are you living? And tell us all about you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Liz. I'm 27 years old. I'm originally from Austria, but I live in China since almost 4 years now. I moved to Shanghai 4 years ago, and now we are currently living in Hong Kong since 4 months.
Yeah, and I'm Shane. I'm 32. I'm from Shanghai, China, and I've been working in Hong Kong since 2017. And I love gym and workout. So my idol is actually Austrian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's funny. When we met, I think that's the first thing he said. And you didn't know he was Austrian, right?
Not really.
Yeah, and I was so proud telling him, he's Austrian. And then he even loved me more, I think.
Nice. I love this.
Yeah.
I love like the fact, as I've mentioned before, that you, Liz, you just kind of went for it. So I kind of like love the fact that the step you've made of just basically moving to Shanghai and then from there on moving together to Hong Kong is actually quite amazing, because I don't know anyone who's from Europe and who can identify with the Chinese culture as much as you do, and who loves it as much as you do, even to a point where you kind of made me want to go there as soon as possible and explore China as well, So before we head into like how you got to know each other and your future plans and all this, I would like to know from you, Liz, like, where did it all started? Like, what brought you to where you are nowadays, sitting in Hong Kong, being married, and having a wonderful kid together? I'm spoiling a little bit right now, but yeah.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting question, because I get this a lot, and people, they cannot believe it when I tell them that I'm interested in Chinese culture since I can think, since I'm a little kid. I don't know where it came from. I know I always loved to watch the Disney movie Mulan. So I was interested in, the culture, their dresses, their architecture, Chinese food. I like the music. I like the characters. I thought the writing is so pretty, like a picture, So I don't know where it comes from, but I was always interested in China. And it's interesting because my family has never been in China and has never something to do with China before. So it came out of nowhere. And as older as I grew, when I was like 12 years old, I was interested in learning Chinese. So as a 12-year-old, my mom sent me to a Chinese course in Austria. And I actually only did 2 courses because I noticed pretty early that it's very hard to learn. It's like unbelievably hard for me to learn. And I gave it up, but I didn't lose the interest in China. And I went to university. I finished my bachelor, and during this time my dad was with his company in China, and he was touring with a guy who told him about the opportunity of Austrians who study economics or law and can do an internship in Austrian companies in China. And he told him, that's great because my daughter is so interested in China. So that's what I did. I applied after my bachelor for a gap year between bachelor and master to go to China to do an internship. And I was super lucky because I got it, and I was the first one they called. I couldn't apply for China. I could only apply for Asia region. So when they called me, they asked me like, where do you want to go? And I say, I have a hand free. I can go anywhere. And they say, yeah, you're the first one we call. So I was like, wow, okay, yeah, I would love to go to China. And then they asked me, okay, where to China? And China has so many cities, so many big cities we don't even know in Europe or in Western countries. So I was like, I know Beijing, I know Shanghai, I know Hong Kong, and that's almost about it, And I decided for Shanghai, and I'm super happy I did, because until now it's my favorite city in the world.
Yeah.
And I went there with my best friend. We traveled 1 month around China, and then I did my 3 months internship. And after that, I should have gone home. And I extended my visit a slightly bit because the visa in China is very strict. You cannot stay like over it. It's like you don't get a long time. So I was crying when I needed to go home, and I lived at my host mom in China at this time. So I told her, you know what? I don't want to go home. I will leave all my stuff here. I came with one suitcase, by the way. Yeah, I came with one suitcase, by the way. Maybe I should mention, when I went to China, I was 24. And I just took one suitcase. I quit my rent in Austria. I put all my furniture and all my stuff between my parents and my siblings, and just left for China for the internship with one suitcase. And then when I needed to leave China again, I said, okay, I don't go. I leave my stuff at my host mom, and I will come back for sure. I didn't know how, but I will come back. And that's what I did. I went to Austria because my visa was expired, and I was there for 3 weeks. And I had during this time in China, I made some friends. So they invited me over for Chinese New Year 4 years ago. And that's why I came for a 1 month visit on the tourist visa, which was actually already not easy to get a tourist visa, even though I had a friend letter who invites me to come. Still, the embassy in Vienna were very strict, asking me. They even interviewed me. How do I know this guy, and why is he a friend, and what is he doing? And all these questions. I was like, I'm just going for a travel for 1 month. I was really surprised. I was a bit afraid, but it ended up all being good, and I could go to Shanghai for another month. And in this month, I said, okay, I want to find a job. I want to stay in Shanghai for longer than I thought. So I will not do my master right away. I will stay a bit in Shanghai. It feels right at the moment. And that's what I did. I searched for a job, and I was super lucky to find a job, because it's really not easy to find a job in China if you're a foreigner, and if you cannot speak Chinese fluent, and if you don't want to be an English teacher. And for English teacher, you should be from a native English speaking country. And also my English is not that good, and I'm just not a teacher type. This is not my occupation. So yeah, I was lucky. I found a job. So I needed to leave back after 1 month to Austria to change my visa into a working visa in Austria. Then, so I stayed 1 month in Austria, and then I came back to China and started right away my work. So I was really lucky that I found a job and I had this opportunity. And it was still my one suitcase, but now, of course, it got more.
It multiplied a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And what actually amazed you the most the first time you went to Shanghai? Because Shanghai is a little bit different than Austria, and especially where you're coming from in Austria. So
Yes.
it's the opposite, like 1000%
It's
the
totally the
opposite.
opposite. Yes.
A little bit bigger
Like,
though.
I'm coming a bit, yeah. I'm coming from Graz, so we have like, I think 250,000 inhabitants. I'm not even sure anymore, maybe a bit more now. But I think 4 years when I left, it was like around this. And I moved to Shanghai, which has around 26 million. So it's like a slight difference, but I liked everything. I don't know. It was just like how I imagined China to be as a child. Just that came out even much better. You know, you have an imagination, and even it fulfills it. It was getting as good as you thought, or you think like, okay, that's not as I imagined it. But for me, it was like as I thought it will be, and even better.
Wow. Wow. And what did you think, Shai, when you first met Liz and she's like super in love with your culture, with the people there? Like, did it surprise you when you met her? And you obviously most probably felt directly that she's just in love with your country. Yeah, just for everyone who's listening right now, because Liz is wearing the headphone with the audio, so we have to make sure that you understand Shane, so she has to talk into her ear.
Yes, I think it's still surprising to me because we always say she's like in everyday life, she's actually acting more like a Chinese than me. Because
he always says that.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody knows. I mean, China is getting modern and modern, but the traditional things are getting kind of fading away, especially when people are getting very busy with the life, with the work. But she's into the tradition, but we are kind of in the tradition for a very long time. That's why people say you never miss the water until the well is gone, like this. So we are in it, so we don't really feel it. But she's preparing a lot. She's also like every time she mentions, oh, it's going to be another Chinese holiday. Do you know that? I'm like, really? Do we? And we're like, yeah. Even the parents are like this. They're like, oh,
I'm more excited.
Thank you for the remind. Then we started preparing. So overall, she's actually making our Chinese tradition more in my family, and she's very open to try everything. She's willing to try some very weird Chinese food, to dress the Chinese traditional costumes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, it's a little bit too much, even for Chinese, but she's always open to try. She's really
God, she makes me cry.
Oh, really she's I feel like she's more the Chinese blood than me.
Wow. He always says that. He always says I'm more Chinese than a Chinese girl.
Yeah, she's the most Chinese human being I've ever known, actually.
Maybe I'm Chinese. I don't know. My previous life.
This kind of makes me emotional right now, because I just...
Me too. He never said that so nice.
This is lovely.
Every day.
Wow. Oh, wow. I don't know what to say right now, to be honest.
So I strongly appreciate it, because it's not only the respect, it's also like she agrees with my culture. She loves my culture. So it's very important to me.
Oh gosh, now I really start crying.
Actually, you should interview my parents. My parents will tell you.
Yeah.
From better point of view, because they are really working with her. The holiday is coming, and actually, I'm just sitting there on my phone.
He's not excited.
On the phone, on the iPad, but she's like working with my parents. Even they cannot really communicate very well because my parents speaks almost zero English, but they have the gestures, the hand, and they with eye contact, they can understand each other. And they're always working together, preparing the decoration, buying the gifts, talking about the holiday. And she has questions, of course, and I'm always the translator.
The poor translator.
Yeah.
He needs to translate a lot for me. Yeah, I feel very sorry for that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's kind of prove my English.
Chinese. No, you're so good.
And what is it? Because I've mentioned before that especially Chinese New Year is a very special date for you two, as a couple as well. If we dive back a little bit, the past few years, like how did you actually meet each other? Like, what happened? Like, how did you click? I kind of want to learn more about that, even though if I know like a few things already due to that you've been featured on an Instagram account I'm following as well, which is ich.dort. So this is where I read part of your story, so I know a little bit. I'm gonna link this in the side notes as well as in the YouTube description. So for everyone who wants to read your story, it's going to be published there, or it is actually already there. But for everyone who doesn't know your love story yet, how did you hit it off?
It's Shane's worst question. He hates to answer that.
Okay.
I don't know why he hates it, because it's nowadays so normal to meet there, but you just don't like it.
I don't want to promote some company, promote some app, and they're not paying us at all.
Okay, maybe
I'm promoting it. I'm promoting it because I know already how you met. So
the other one.
Okay, yeah, we met on Tinder. So the very common way nowadays to meet, I guess.
It is.
And I have to say, you have been using Tinder more than me, because I hated Tinder. I didn't like it. I had this image about Tinder that this is an app that's not for me. And after almost being 1 year in Shanghai, my very good friends, they left. They were also foreigners, and they left to their home countries. And they told me, hey, if you want to find some new friends, in China, Tinder is the way to find other foreign friends, or to find Chinese who can speak English. And I was like, really? I can find only friends there, nothing more? And they say, yeah, sure. And I gave it a try, and I think 1 week later we matched.
But I want to add something. I mean, yes, I'm the user, I'm the beneficial here, but I still don't recommend people to, rely on this social or virtual stuff too much, because you really sometimes need to go out more, meet more friends. We are like a coincidence.
Yeah.
And for me, it was still like a very rare app. Maybe it was pretty popular globally, except China, because of the network, and because I was working in Hong Kong already. I was traveling around a lot, but it's very close. It's just between borders from Hong Kong to the China mainland.
He needs to VPN.
Yes, but the website, the network is changing all the time. So when I was in Hong Kong with the first time, of course, I was exploring all the new applications that I could outside of the China border. So that was new to me. Yeah, but I still want to say, I don't really want to promote Tinder, but thanks.
Yeah.
What was your first impression, though, when you met the first date? How was it?
I think I would start.
Yeah, okay, you start.
I didn't really know her feeling to me for the first one, because for me, I was not like really going somewhere or looking for something, but I was like, okay, we talked a lot before we met, And I knew something about her, and she knew a lot from me because I was pouring everything to her, as she described.
Yes.
And and I was kind of in a holiday in Shanghai, and because of my job, I didn't really have a lot of work in Shanghai because my company was in Hong Kong. My work was in Hong Kong. So when I came back to Shanghai, I was kind of in holiday. So I mean, I couldn't meet all my friends because they had to work. So uh, I saw her. I drove to her office.
He picked me up from
Yeah, I
work.
drove to her office, and she jumped into the car. The first second, it was like somebody you knew already for some time. Not like the first time, the strange,
That's right.
the vibe is not right. But the first time she jumped in and she was very casual. She's like knew me for she's like been known she's known me for a long time, and nothing weird, nothing acting. Everything was very natural. Like, oh, okay, how's it going? Where are we going? Like this. So the conversation started, and then the 1 minute later,
Best story ever.
yeah, comes with your story. Then
Okay. Yeah, for me it was like this. We were writing for a month already before we met because Shane was for work in Hong Kong, so we
Yeah, that
couldn't
was in
meet
Hong Kong.
before. And he spontaneously asked me for a date, and I was not so sure. And his texting was not the way I like to text. I'm very open. I want to know a lot and talk a lot deep already before I meet somebody. I'm not the person who's meeting somebody easy. When I meet somebody, mostly it works out. I don't know. That's just me personally. So when we were texting, he was mostly talking about himself, which is good. He was open, but he told me things I never asked for, and he never asked me back. And this is something I don't like. Somebody only talking about himself. Now I know that's totally not how he is, but I didn't know back then he was busy with work. So he thought he will, that this is his way to showing to me that he has interest, writing me a lot, but didn't have the time to really get in a deep conversation. So now I know that back then I didn't, but I'm happy I gave him the chance. And he picked me up from work, which I already thought is very cute. And also dangerous a bit, actually, now I think.
I'm not in Shanghai.
Yeah, but not in Shanghai. That's right. Shanghai is really super safe.
Because 1 minute later, we're going to see the...
Yes. So I was getting in the car, and he wore his sunglasses. And I thought, like, it just smells strong, like perfume, super strong. But I don't see your eyes, and this is so important for me to see his eyes.
It was summer. I was driving.
Yeah, okay. No, it was summer. He was driving, but we're driving and talking, and I swear, like, not even 1 minute later, we needed to.
Pulled over.
We were pulled over by the police.
Oh.
Because Shane was at my work before I could go off, so he was driving already circles around my office.
Yeah, because it was hard to park.
It was hard to park there, yes. And the police, at this moment, they're always standing at this corner. So they saw him already the whole time. And this time where we both were crossing to the right, he didn't blink. He forgot. Maybe because I just got in the car. He was too nervous. I don't know. So the police pulled him over and he had to pay a fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I could see you were nervous about that this happened. You were a bit embarrassed it is happening right away.
Of course, you pay money.
But I thought, I just laughed and I said, oh my gosh, things happen. For me, this situation I was not nervous anymore at all. It was just funny situation, something we went through together. We had something to laugh and to talk about, and it was just going on casually for me. So that was for me really the perfect start. And then he was so cute. He reserved in 2 restaurants and he gave me the option to choose from, which I thought it was like very gentleman-like, very cute. Never ever had I had that. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we left the car, he finally put the sunglasses off, and then I fell for him right away when I saw his brown teddy bear eyes, I always say.
So, but did you
and
feel
then
as well,
yeah,
Shane, that in that moment that the ice kind of broke? So once you showed your eyes and once the situation dissolved a little bit after you got pulled over?
So after that, I was embarrassed in front of her, though I'm a good driver, but it's like 1 minute after meeting each other, I got a violation. And because I was embarrassed, like what I said, so she would be, less embarrassed about everything. So everything was opened up, and we were talking very smoothly with, no boundary at all. And I picked two restaurants. I booked both, I think, of course, for her to select. So, she doesn't need to, if she really doesn't like one, she can pick the other. It's a safe choice. And also for me, I couldn't really, pick up either one of them for myself. So she can do the final decision. It's also like helping me out. Yeah. And I mean, we talked a lot in the dinner. I don't really remember what we had that day.
What we ate? You don't know?
I think I remember Japanese.
Japanese.
But there's a lot of there's a big variety of Japanese
sushi, food. Japanese hot pot.
It's typical. It's typical us. Typical us.
Yes, typical us.
Yes. And we actually spent 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah. And he even wanted to go for coffee afterwards. But I thought like a 4-hour date is good enough and we should stop it when it's good. And we still have something to talk about. And I had to go to work next day early. Yeah. So I thought like, let it be and we'll meet again.
Yes.
And we postponed the coffee to, I think we postponed it to 2 days after or the next day. And then we went for the coffee. So I got a second date out of it.
Nice. So you split it. And when was the moment you realized that that there's definitely more than just like a friendship or anything like this? Was it right away when you realized, or was there a specific moment?
For me, it was the second date actually. When we went for the coffee. I don't know why, but this date I felt like he's not only such a cool person, and for me, he's so good looking, but he's also so confident and gives me a good feeling. I don't know. I fell in love with you on the second date very much. I don't know why. I liked him in the first date already. Otherwise, I wouldn't have met him again. But on the second date, there was something.
Yeah, because I was good looking back then. Before Chris was born, I was still slim and
You're
fit
still looking
and young.
Your kid changed a bit.
Yeah, I'm like, I look like 15 now.
No, gosh, you're Chinese. You always look young. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, but I admit I was looking much better than now. So,
okay,
not only the looking.
I think everything was going in the right direction. The coffee, the dinner, the talk, the text, everything was happening just very naturally. Yeah. Just like we've known each other for a long time.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm into her and her culture, and she's into me and my culture. So we always have something to share, to discuss. That's very important for a relationship.
Yes, and it happened. Our whole story happened very fast. Yeah. But I don't know. I remember the first, like we met in June. And the whole summer we had, I was like totally the pink sunglasses, like in the movies, I was so in love. There was
which year was it? June 2019, no?
2019, yeah.
2019 when you met.
Yeah.
And how did it went from there on? What happened next? I'm a little bit curious.
Yeah, as I said, everything happened very fast. He kind of moved in to me like, I don't know, 2 weeks later, or like she just didn't leave. He was like almost every day at my place. When I came home from work, he was there or coming, and it was nice. Normally I'm the person, I want my own space, but with him I wanted to see him all the time. like I say, the pink glass sunglass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we traveled a lot through China too. And I met his parents, which I thought is a serious step for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had an amazing summer. And I had the opportunity to have my job because it was a 6 months job I had. And they asked me if I can do it full time for 4 years. And I agreed on that. So that was perfect timing. If that wouldn't be possible, then that would be a problem for our relationship. And then something very unexpected happened and we got pregnant.
Yes.
With our boy.
And we got a chance to visit Austria and her family.
Later in December,
In December.
For Christmas.
Then,
I was pregnant already.
You were
4 months
already.
at this point.
1 month later, the pandemic started.
Yeah, so that he was the only time.
Yeah, so the 6-7 months was amazing. I mean, we're not really lucky with all the COVID thing, but for that, at least we had a chance to go see her family at least one time, travel back to her hometown.
Because so far, my family in Austria, they don't know our son, but at least they have met Shane one time.
Yeah.
Just like 1 month before everything happened.
Yeah, and also COVID can be another good thing because since COVID, we have to stay home a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. And working from home happens all the time when there's some cases coming. So that gave us the time and
you the time to have with our son
the time
the
and
first
chance
year
to stay with the kids, like because she's in maternity leave and I was like working from home most of the time, so we could spend a lot of time with the kid since the first day he was born. Really 24/7. Yeah. It was not easy, but I want to say that's like every moment of the little kid. You don't miss like 1 second with him. And we are together like every second, we still see him growing so fast, changing so much. So I now we are working now every day. I have the feeling that we have to give up the time with him for the work, but still I'm very grateful for the last 1.5 years with him, like totally. I think it's not very common for parents in the whole world, for the three of us.
Especially in China with the busy working hours.
18 months.
Not normal to have so much time, especially as a dad, also as a mom to spend with the kids. So we were very lucky for that, yes.
Yeah.
So your life changed completely, unexpectedly, but everything just turned out to be amazing.
Yes. Yeah. It was really like, for me, it was a shock when I found out. I was like, I'm in a new country still. I was like 1 year in China at that point, and I just knew him a few months. So I have no family here, no help. Can I do this in case something wouldn't work out and something is happening, something I have to think about when I'm becoming a mom. So these were all the thoughts. And back then I thought, worst case, I can still go to Austria, right? But then the pandemic came when I was pregnant, like 5 months. So I was not able to go to Austria anymore because we wanted actually to go to Austria for the birth and be the first months there with my family, but that was not possible anymore. Yeah. So changed a lot, but it worked out fine.
I'm so happy for you guys. I mean, obviously you're very, very happy.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I was not really. I was.
He was calm. He was calming me down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a man thing. I think you need to be calm and try to control the whole situation. I think that's what men should be able to. So I can support her when she needs this part of control. She doesn't need to worry because she's carrying something already, right? So I cannot really burden her, let her worry about the money, where to find a hospital, or how we can deal with the birth or whatever, everything.
it's a bit Chinese culture,
but
that
she
takes over.
has to take care of her family, how to announce, to her family by herself. The rest, financially, whatever, I will take care of. So maybe, like she said, she's afraid. I'm in a new country. I have like one luggage.
Without him financially, I wouldn't be able to do it.
So, but
also language
for
barrier
me, I was like, this is a happy thing, right? It's like it's something that a lot of people been trying so hard and not even able to get it, and then we can have it, and it's like
it was destiny.
It's like blessed. So I was more worried about like how she was handling it. As long as she thinks it's a good thing, all the other pressures, financially or the family pressure, we can deal with that. And that's what we did, and we really made it. And now it's turning out great.
Yeah.
And now, of course, we are totally in a new picture now. I'm sorry, in a new page, I want to say, because
from not being parents to being parents and married is totally
and we both are away from our hometowns, and we try to find out where we are really going in the whole world. We don't know where we're gonna end up, but I think that leaves us a lot of options. Shanghai, China,
and Hong Kong is where you're currently at.
Yes.
So, you moved in between as well.
We moved in between, yeah.
So a lot of things you had to handle meanwhile. What I would be especially interested in is, as you've mentioned, the pressure you had to deal with before the baby was even there. And if it's okay for you to talk about a little bit more in detail about the pressure of the families, because I can only imagine, like, as you've mentioned, Liz, Shane met your family just one time in Austria, so he had the chance to meet your family. You obviously had the chance to meet his family, but after all, there are two cultures involved, and this is what I always think is super interesting, but I know it's also not always easy to handle. But first of all, what did you have to deal with exactly, and how did you handle it? That would be something I would be really interested in, because I feel like it can help a lot of listeners and viewers right now to have a little bit of background information, maybe some advice even.
Yeah, it was like, for me, when I got pregnant, I needed to tell my family, obviously. So I called everybody, and I waited for my brother. I waited for 3 months after I found out, because I was so afraid to tell him, because my brother is the best brother in the world, but he's super protective. So, of course, his little sister getting pregnant in another country from a guy he doesn't know, and she's only been together with him for a few months, is something he doesn't want to hear. So we had some discussions on the phone, and I have to say, in my family, that's a bit sad, because of my friends and of my family back home, nobody really was happy when they found out I'm pregnant. I mean, I was already in such a weird position and didn't know how to handle all these feelings, but then having no help physically and mentally from my family and from my friends was also hard, because they were all shocked, of course, because it was happening so fast. And I was in another country. I'm still so young. For an Austrian, I was 25. I just turned 25 at the moment. So for them, it was like too fast. So that was a bit hard. But after a few months, when they met Shane, they all liked him. They all loved him. And everybody said, like, good job. He's awesome. And I just said, like, yeah, of course he's awesome. Otherwise, I wouldn't take him, So now my family all, I'm very happy about that. And they all, I mean, he's a good guy. He's super successful. He's good educated. He's everything a Western parent, I would say, or a parent in general would want for their daughter or son. So and he takes care of me. He protects me. So I think they're fine with it. Of course, they're super sad because that means that I maybe stay in China forever. But on the other hand, they have a family now in China, someone to visit. And my family is quite open because we are already destroyed in the world. I have family in Brazilian, I have family in Czech, I have family in Greece, I have family in Saudi Arabia. So now we in China, so we are already quite open to that. I think that helps a lot because my family is open for this cultural differences and nationalities. That's a good thing, I think. Otherwise, maybe it would have been harder.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously after they met Shane and they realized, hey, it's actually like, obviously it's a difference if you hear stories about him and then you have this person in front of you and you're able to communicate with this person. And also like seeing you guys right now, I mean, it's a perfect match. It's just like, as you said, it's definitely destiny. So,
you're so cute.
No, it's true. Like, because listen, it's just when you know. And I don't know if you know that, but I've met my husband on Tinder as well. You know, it's like
I know.
We're together since 6 years already. We hit it off, or I hit it off directly. For him, it took a little bit longer. And I also feel like you just have to go with the flow, and whatever comes, you know, and you just have to, to live it and live the fullest of it, whatever life is giving you at that moment. And this is what you're doing. And I really, really love to see you growing. And even though you grew a little bit faster than, let me say, other couples that met under other circumstances, but I just love the fact that no matter what, you pull through it together, you know, and you're very, very strong. And that this is something that keeps you rolling, especially with a little one now. It's just
my mom actually she gave me the right sentence when I was pregnant. I didn't know what to do. She said to me, you know, there is never the right time. You will always have to deal with something. And then this sentence, I don't know, this changed my mind. This felt like she's right. There is never the right time. And I just, as you say, I go with the flow.
Yeah. So you're making it work. And to go back to like what I've mentioned right in the beginning, when I said, hey, Chinese New Year's is quite special to you. Why is it so special though?
It's only special actually this year because Chinese New Year is after the lunar calendar. So it's not at the same date in our calendar every year. But this year it's special because we have our 2 years marriage anniversary. Yeah.
So you got engaged and you got married.
We got engaged, we got married. We got like, Shane surprised me with the engagement actually, because I remember on our fourth date, we talked about getting married and kids. We just wanted to know where we are standing, you know, what is our interest in our relationship if we go to have one. And back then, I remember we both said we don't want to get married. That's something I had a lot of experience in my family and friends. Just everybody in Europe almost is divorced, you know. So I just didn't want to go for it. And I don't know, Shane didn't either. But I said I want to have kids. And I think you were not so sure about that too. So I was
still not sure. And there's a monster with my blood.
So he kind of surprised me when we got engaged. When he prepared everything super cute, and we got engaged short after we found out we were pregnant.
So you really didn't see it coming?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. He was gone for 3 days, like texting me rare, but didn't show up. And as I said, he always came to my place, always stayed over. So I was like, what is going on? Why are you not at my place for 3 days? And I didn't know he was preparing, like he blew up 100 balloons and he prepared everything super cute with lights and everything. And I didn't know that back then. And then, of course, I found out and his parents were even helping. That was so cute. Waiting in the other room and hiding up to say that I say yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Everything was going.
So 2 years of anniversary next week, right? 2 years of marriage. And oh my God, I have so many questions, but I know like time is running short right now. Obviously, I'm going to link everything below. So if someone wants to learn more about you, like especially about the cultural differences, because I know there are some differences between Austria and China, they can just contact you directly. But to somehow get to an end with this little interview, 2 years of marriage next year, next week, sorry, 2 years of marriage next week. And what's going to come next? Like, what are your future plans if it goes according to plan?
I have the feeling so many things happen so fast for us. And we just moved to Hong Kong, so I think that's already a huge step we did. And I don't know what's coming next, actually.
I don't. Yeah, it's coming. It's bothering me all the time about our future, where we're gonna end up. But
it's good to have so much options from our backgrounds, but it's also going nowhere. We always don't know where we are belonging to, you know.
But for me, it's very easy. At one point, we just always stay with the family. Stay with the family. We're never gonna put our kid into a hard situation, so we're always gonna think the whole family
yes,
like together. So
what's best for all of us?
Yeah, where, you know, everything, education, life, I think it's just maybe like every general family to decide one day, because now we don't need to make a final decision. I mean, of course, the pandemic is still here. We cannot really move. We can't really move, even we wanna. You know, maybe we need to sacrifice a lot, pay a lot, and traveling with our kid is not really safe. You know, so now
it's not possible with the quarantine here.
Yeah, it's too much for him. So I think now it's good, and the future at the moment is good. Yeah, in the future, I think
we are always talking about it, and we're saying like maybe it's Austria one day again, and Shane will move to Austria with us. Or maybe it's Shanghai back, because we all love Shanghai and we have still family there. Maybe it's Hong Kong for next years. We don't know.
For me, I mean, distance is never a problem because technology is developing every day. And yes, it's a long flight, 10 hours. But think about it, I'm flying from Shanghai to Hong Kong. It's going to take me the whole, morning or afternoon. So flying overnight, it's actually fine.
I think for the next years, we both agree to stay in China, either Hong Kong or Shanghai. And in the long run, maybe when we are older, maybe Austria. Because for our opportunities in this age, we're still very young, and also from work-wise, in Asia is much more options for us, and it's much more exciting here. No offense, I love Austria, I love Europe, but it's just more exciting.
Yeah.
And also for our son, it's an international culture here. We are growing up. He's having so many diverse cultures here, languages. I think it's good for him too.
Yeah. Are you learning Chinese still, Liz? By the way,
I started learning. I came to China too. I did a course at university, and I did a course when I was in China. And then it's always I always start and then stop it somehow, because I have problems with hearing the tones. I cannot hear a difference, and Shane always says I'm so proud when I know something in Chinese, when I know the vocabulary, and then I tell it to Shane, and he's like, I don't understand you because your tones are completely wrong. So just knowing the vocabulary is not enough. Yes.
Yeah.
So I can speak basic Chinese. I can have a basic conversation. That's no problem now. Of course, when you live in Shanghai, that's something you actually have to do, because you have to know it to get around. But at one point I gave up. Like I learned something to be able to talk to his parents, and his parents' Mandarin is also not so good because they speak dialect, which is like a totally different language. So I talk to them, and they don't even look at me. They don't even notice that I'm talking to them. So it's like embarrassing, and it feels like I do it for nothing.
Okay.
But I have the hope, and I still want to learn it. I still have the apps on my phone. I still will do it, and I hope I will learn it with my son. I hope I will do that.
Yeah, because that's an extra plus, obviously, if he's able to.
And it's necessary. If I live here for long, I want to integrate. I want to learn it. I really would wish I'm fluent.
I mean, you're integrated already after what Shane told us in the beginning, that you love the culture and that you celebrate the culture. So I wouldn't be worried about that. But obviously, speaking the language, it's just like adding.
Yes. There's so many Chinese who I would love to talk to, like his parents, his family, other people I meet. And I just have this language barrier where we cannot go further a certain step. And I want to talk deeper, I would love to talk with his mom about so many things. And my Chinese level is not that high that I can talk about it.
Yeah.
And I hate to ask Shane to be the translator. I'm so sorry that he had to do that so much for me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same over here. Until you speak the language fluent, it's going to take quite a while. But I love that you put so much effort in it, and especially the fact that you're so involved in the Chinese culture. And as I've mentioned before, it's just very, very amazing to see you both together on the other end of the world with an 11 hours time difference and living your life at your fullest, and blending two families, like blending two cultures and making it work. So to get to an end with this conversation, if you look back and if you think back of what you've learned in the past few years, how you're blending two cultures, as mentioned, is there one advice you would like to share with everyone who is listening and watching right now?
I think open-minded. I think she needs to be open, and I need to be open too. There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong opinion, unless it's something proved by science. You cannot, point at the water, says it's fire, right? But with something, especially like people's mind, it's not something you can see. It's intangible. We cannot touch. It's invisible, but it's in people's brain, in people's mind. So you have to be open. And also we need to think about that we grow up in different cultures, in different systems. So if either one of us is doing something maybe offensive or maybe a little bit weird, you need to try to understand on the other shoes, let me say. So we can always understand. Yes. I can always understand her, and she can always understand me. If we have some misunderstanding, of course we're gonna fight, with each other's point of view. But we both know there must be some misunderstanding in the topic. That's why we are able to talk with each other about something. Not really. Just like now, some people are still not willing to wear the mask to do the vaccination. It's fine. It's their point of view. But maybe some people are just thinking differently. Just to don't be on the other party's way or something. Because sometimes this is not really the only answer for this kind of question.
Yeah, I think open-minded is a good one. And also, it's not relationship-wise now, but it's in the point of China, because it's not a country where Western people would usually go to. Most people would prefer maybe America more. And I just want to say that don't always trust everything you read in the media, because there's always another point of view. There are always two sides. And China is, in our media, it has such a bad image, which I'm really sorry about, because this country is so beautiful, is so diverse, and the people are so nice. And just because of some politician parts you maybe disagree with, or who maybe even not true, because Western media also like to push it further to a point where it's not the case anymore. I just say, make your own picture, and go check it out first yourself, and then you can still have your opinion about it. Because I get so many people watching me on Instagram saying, I didn't like China, or I was not interested in China, or I had my bad picture about China. And you completely changed it just in showing how it is there. I'm just showing my life, you know, I'm just showing the reality and talk about facts here. And people see that, and they see it's different than we maybe see in our media. So I just want to say, be open-minded to a different culture, be open-minded to a different country you're maybe having already your image about.
Yeah,
that's another one. And if you want to go abroad, do it. It's really something I can say, because I also thought about going abroad for a semester, going abroad to live abroad as an expat or whatever. And I was afraid too. Everybody is afraid to do that, right? But everybody said to me, no, it is something you will not be disappointed in doing it. Yeah. And that is really true. You only grow with it. You learn so much about it. There's nothing you waste. There's no waste of time. So I can only say to everybody who's thinking about going abroad, go for it. Be brave.
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself, especially.
Don't need to. Yeah. Don't bring politics into this.
It's not about politics. It's something that should be mentioned.
Yes, but still, I think it's political manipulation. So let the politicians do their job. So we are just out of all the politics. We live our life.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned the fact that what media is presenting, and obviously, yes, I'm one of those, because you see what's published, but in the end you just see what you see without seeing it, because you're not there, you're not part of it, you're not living there, you know. So, and you've definitely 1000% changed my mind and my point of view when it comes to China. I know that Chinese people, because I've some friends who are Chinese, so they're living in the US right now. They're wonderful, they're amazing, they're open-minded, they are kind. But still, China as a country was not on my list to visit until I saw what you're showing on social media. And I'm just honest, like I'm definitely one of those. You changed my mind with, basically, by what you're showing, like the real China, the diversity, the excitement, the people, you know. And I really, really, really admire what you're doing there. And I really admire you as a couple, everything you're dealing with or had to deal with in the past, like the way it went from basically dating and having a Tinder match to where you are nowadays. And I think that's just, a great example on what love is actually doing with a person, and what love is capable of handling, you know, as long as you're working on the same goal and are on the same page and are keep on moving forward, because, you know, there's this strong bond between you guys. So thank you for so much for sharing your story and for giving us a lot of insights into your relationship, into the culture difference and everything we've talked about. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us. It was very nice. Went good, I think.
Yeah, thank you for the time.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us tell our story and maybe give other couples or people the chance to go for it.
I mean, her channel is amazing, because I don't really do social media, but I'm learning from her channel. I'm learning from her channel. If you guys watching her channel and there's like 5% or 2% voting, I'm one of them, because the other voters, they are Westerners. I'm the Chinese one, so I have to vote differently.
My stories.
Because she would ask like, "Oh, are you surprised to see this?" I'm like, "No, because I'm Chinese in China."
He always changed my election. He means,
So he's those 2%.
Really not only telling some common sense, but she's also doing research, numbers, analysis.
I try to
So
do that.
I'm really learning from her channel about my culture.
I try to do some research. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You do that. You're not just putting anything out there. So you read about it, and then you just give the right info. And even though if it's not 100% right, but someone noticed, you correct it afterwards immediately. Like
Yeah.
That's something. So you're very transparent. That's true. Yeah, I can definitely underline that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a hobby. I love doing it. So, and I'm happy, like you said, if I change people's minds, just to be more open.
Yeah,
that's already what I want.
Yeah, definitely.